Taylor Swift's name being pulled into the "It Ends With Us" legal firestorm is one of the most unexpected celebrity twists of 2025. What started as a lawsuit between Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni has now spiraled into a saga touching Hollywood power dynamics, personal friendships, billion-dollar reputations, and the undeniable gravitational pull of Taylor Swift herself. And now, with the judge's most recent ruling, we finally have a clearer picture of where Swift stands, at least for now, and this high-profile courtroom drama. But to truly understand the weight of this moment, we have to go back to the very beginning of the scandal and follow it step by step, because every twist has been messier than the last. It all began in December 2024, when Blake Lively, beloved actress, wife to Ryan Reynolds, and longtime friend to Taylor Swift, filed a bombshell lawsuit against her "It Ends With Us" co-star and director, Justin Baldoni. The lawsuit alleged sexual harassment on set, along with claims that Baldoni had orchestrated a smear campaign to damage Lively's career after she resisted his behavior. This wasn't just a behind-the-scenes dispute. This was Hollywood's golden girl, known for her carefully private family life, stepping forward with allegations that rocked the industry. Justin Baldoni immediately denied everything. But he didn't stop there. Instead of quietly defending himself, he went on the offensive, filing a $400 million countersuit. In it, he accused Blake Lively of intentionally sabotaging him, claimed Ryan Reynolds had interfered with the production, and, most explosively, alleged that Taylor Swift herself had pressured him into creative changes that he said hurt the film. Suddenly, Taylor Swift's name was dragged into the legal record, not as a witness to harassment, not as someone directly involved in the on-set conflict, but as part of a narrative Baldoni was building that an A-list circle of power players had ganged up on him. That countersuit didn't survive long. By June 2025, the court dismissed it outright. The judge essentially said Baldoni's claims didn't hold legal weight, but the damage was already done. Taylor Swift's name was now forever linked to this messy Hollywood feud, and gossip outlets had a field day. From that point on, Swift's camp worked hard to clarify her role. According to her team, her only connection to "It Ends With Us" was the licensing of one of her songs, My Tears Ricochet, for the soundtrack. She wasn't in the editing room, she didn't participate in script rewrites, she wasn't in casting calls. In fact, she reportedly never even saw the film before its release. By all accounts, her involvement was as limited as possible. But once your name is in a lawsuit, the speculation machine doesn't stop. In May 2025, Baldoni's lawyers escalated matters further by subpoenaing Taylor Swift. That meant they were formally demanding that she sit down for a deposition, sworn testimony under oath. Swift's representatives responded with fury, calling the subpoena inappropriate and unnecessary. They pointed out that she had no material involvement in the film and therefore no useful testimony to give. For a moment, it looked like the drama would end there, because the subpoena was later withdrawn. But the peace didn't last. By September 2025, Baldoni's team came back, this time telling the court that Taylor Swift had actually agreed to a deposition, but only after October 20th. Why that date? Because in early October, Swift is set to release her 12th studio album, The Life of a Showgirl. Between promotional commitments, rehearsals, and the rollout of what could be one of the biggest albums of her career, Swift's calendar was packed. Baldoni's team argued that she was willing, just not immediately available. Swift's lawyers quickly pushed back. They clarified that she had not agreed to anything. The only thing they said was that if a court forced her into it, she would make herself available sometime after October 20th. That's a very different message than Taylor agreed. This disagreement, Baldoni's lawyers claiming one thing, Swift's lawyers saying another, became headline news. Fans were outraged that Taylor Swift's name was still being dragged through the mud. On social media, hashtags like "Leave Taylor Alone" and "Swift Not Involved" began trending, with thousands of fans pointing out that she had no responsibility here and accusing Baldoni of deliberately using her name to stir up media attention. And then came the pivotal moment. On September 13th, 2025, Judge Louis J. Liman issued a ruling. Baldoni's team had asked the court to extend the discovery deadline so that they could depose Taylor Swift later in the fall. The judge said no. He denied the request outright. His reasoning was blunt. Baldoni's lawyers hadn't shown good cause for the extension, and crucially, they hadn't even proven that they had properly served a renewed subpoena to Swift. In other words, they were asking for special treatment without doing the basic legal steps required. This ruling was huge. For Taylor Swift, it meant she was not obligated to sit down for a deposition, at least not right now. For Blake Lively, it was further validation that Baldoni's tactics of pulling outsiders into the lawsuit weren't going to fly. And for Baldoni, it was another setback in what is already shaping up to be a long, uphill legal battle. But the story doesn't end there, because even with the judge's ruling, the possibility of Taylor Swift being pulled in later isn't completely gone. If Baldoni's team manages to properly serve a subpoena and convince the court she has relevant information, she could still be forced into testimony. Swift's lawyers have already admitted that if absolutely required, she'll comply, but only under protest. Now, let's talk about the optics, because that's where the story gets even juicier. Justin Baldoni, once known for his inspirational speeches and heartwarming roles, is now being portrayed by critics as a man willing to drag America's biggest pop star into a courtroom just to create leverage. Fans see it as a strategy to rattle Blake Lively's support system by targeting her closest friend. And that friendship is critical. Taylor Swift and Blake Lively aren't casual acquaintances. They're deeply connected. Taylor has referenced Blake and Ryan Reynolds' children in her songs. They spend holidays together. They've been photographed at private family events. So when Baldoni's team tried to paint Swift as some shadowy influence over the movie, it felt not only false, but almost insulting to the authenticity of that friendship. At the same time, Swift's career couldn't be at a higher peak. With The Life of a Showgirl about to drop, she's in full global superstardom mode. And the last thing she needs is being dragged into a lawsuit that has nothing to do with her. The timing of it all, album release, legal threats, deposition rumors, only fueled fan theories. Some believe her new songs might reference the stress of watching a close friend go through such a public legal fight. Others insist that one rumored track, Ruin the Friendship, could be a direct nod to the fallout. Swift hasn't confirmed any of this, of course, but her history of embedding personal stories into her music makes it hard for fans to resist speculating. Meanwhile, the actual trial between Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni is scheduled for March 2026. That means this saga is far from over. Both sides are preparing for months of discovery, motions, and public scrutiny. And with Taylor Swift's name already tied to the case, every filing and every development is being watched under a microscope. So where do Taylor Swift and Blake Lively stand now? Publicly, Swift has made it clear that she wants nothing to do with the legal proceedings. Her lawyers are fighting to keep her out of it, arguing she has no relevant knowledge. Blake Lively, on the other hand, appears determined to move forward with her case, even as Baldoni continues to push back. Their friendship remains intact, strengthened, if anything, by the ordeal. Baldoni, meanwhile, looks increasingly isolated, having lost his countersuit and now facing mounting skepticism about his tactics. In the end, this story isn't just about one lawsuit. It's about celebrity power, loyalty, and the way fame can complicate everything. Taylor Swift may not be a party to the case, but her cultural influence makes her impossible to ignore. Whether she ever sets foot in a courtroom or not, her shadow looms over this trial, shaping how it's perceived by the public. And as we head toward March 2026, fans will be watching three questions above all else. Will Blake Lively win her case? Will Justin Baldoni manage to shift the narrative? And will Taylor Swift be forced, against her will, to step into the legal spotlight? What we do know is this: the judge's ruling has given Swift a temporary reprieve. She can focus on her music and her fans. But in Hollywood, nothing stays quiet for long.